imagine, right, giving the exact same, like, high-stakes business problem to three completely different geniuses.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Yes, so one of them lies to you with absolute confidence, like completely makes things up, but makes it sound so brilliant you almost believe it.
Right, the charismatic one.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Then another one completely ignores your request for, say, a creative strategy, and instead just throws this blinding mountain of raw, unformatted data directly at your face.
Just boom, you hear the numbers.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then the third one flat out refuses to answer entirely until it's paused to, I don't know, ponder the deeper implications in the overall safety of your question.
That is honestly a phenomenal way to frame the landscape right now. Welcome to the reality of artificial intelligence in 2026, I guess.
Right, because we are living through this era of just profound information overload. And the anxiety around it is so palpable.
Oh, absolutely. People feel this immense pressure every single day. They think, if I don't master the absolute best AI tool right this very second, my business is going to fail, my career is stalling out, or, I'm just going to be left in the dust.
And that anxiety, that exact feeling, is our mission for today. Because if you are trying to navigate this maze without getting bogged down in endless technical jargon, we are going to cut through all of that noise.
Because the noise is deafening right now.
It really is. We have this fascinating report on the desk today, and it's titled The AI Titan Triumvirate, a strategic performance comparison.
Quite the mouthful.
It is, yeah. But we're taking this stack of research to answer the ultimate practical question for you. ChatGPT versus Gemini versus Claude. Like, which AI should you actually use?
And, what stands out immediately in this source materials is its core premise. The report argues, quite vehemently actually, that this is no longer just a simple comparison of tech specs.
Right, it's not like buying a TV.
Exactly. We aren't just looking at processing speeds or the raw size of a database to declare a winner anymore.
Okay, so what are we looking at?
We're looking at a battle between three entirely different visions of the future. One vision is aggressively focused on creativity and versatility.
Okay.
Another is obsessively focused on real-time data and ecosystem integration. And the third, it prioritizes safety, nuance, and really deep, prolonged thinking.
The report frames it beautifully, actually. It says, choosing an AI today is about personality, purpose, and precision.
Which is such a shift from how we used to think about software.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because that word personality, that really strikes me. Choosing your AI right now isn't like picking a brand of computer, right? It's like hiring your first employee.
That's a great way to put it.
You have to know what the job actually is before you can even look at the resumes. I mean, you wouldn't hire a brilliant, chaotic graphic designer to do your corporate taxes.
Right, yeah. And that analogy holds up perfectly when you look at how these models are actually trained. They've evolved from, simple software applications into collaborative agents.
Because of the way they're built.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're built with entirely different reward systems and foundational architectures, they've actually developed distinct operational personalities.
So if you don't match the personality to the purpose.
You're going to experience massive friction. It's just not going to work the way you want it to.
Okay, well, since we're looking at a stack of resumes here, let's start with the most famous candidate on the pile. The one the source calls the smart creative multitasker.
Ah, ChatGPT.
Yeah, let's look at ChatGPT. The report really positions it as the all-round genius.
Structurally, OpenAI built ChatGPT to be a massive generalized reasoning engine. It operates less like a single specialized software program and more like a massive team of experts housed inside one very clean interface.
Right.
Because its underlying architecture is intensely focused on generative reasoning, it's exceptionally good at taking a vague prompt from you and structuring a highly coherent, really creative response.
And the report highlights a whole host of areas where this totally shines. Like content creation is the big one, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. YouTube scripts, blog posts, generating raw marketing ideas.
Yeah, and it's also incredibly strong for coding applications and like brainstorming business strategies. But what really jumped out at me in the source is the ecosystem.
The plugins.
Yeah, it has this massive library of plugins and tools.
And that ecosystem is a crucial point of leverage. By allowing ChatGPT to connect to third-party plugins, it essentially teaches itself to use external tools.
Which is wild.
It is. It can run Python code, it can generate images, it can format spreadsheets. It is just highly, highly versatile.
But, and this is a big but, The report also lists some significant, frankly terrifying cons.
Yes, the downsides are very real.
It explicitly mentions that ChatGPT can sometimes deliver overconfident, completely factually incorrect answers.
The hallucinations.
Right, and it also points out that its real-time updates might lag significantly depending on exactly which version you're using.
Yeah.
So if it's occasionally overconfident and, lacks the most up-to-the-second data,
Yeah.
isn't it basically that one guy in the office who sounds super convincing in a meeting but hasn't actually read the latest memo?
That is the exact vulnerability users run into. And it is vital for you, as the listener, to understand the mechanics of why this happens. It's not a glitch.
Wait, it's not.
No, it's an inherent trade-off in the model's design. ChatGPT is fundamentally predicting the next most likely word in a sequence to create a fluid, engaging narrative.
Okay, so it's focused on the flow.
Exactly. Versatility and generative creativity often trade off with absolute factual precision. When a model is optimized for flow, it can sometimes prioritize sounding confident over, well, verifying the absolute truth of its statement.
So it just wants to please you.
Basically, yes. It desperately wants to give you a satisfying, comprehensive answer, but sometimes reality just isn't satisfying, and the AI bridges that gap by essentially inventing a confident-sounding fiction.
Wow, okay, so if you're an entrepreneur trying to draft, like, a visionary pitch deck or a coder trying to debug a script, that confidence and creativity is an incredible asset.
Completely. It's unmatched for that.
But if you're, say, a financial analyst, and you need to know exactly what the Federal Reserve did 10 minutes ago, that same creative flow becomes a massive liability.
That is the dividing line right there. The report concludes ChatGPT is best for creators, entrepreneurs, students, and coders.
Basically, people making stuff.
Right. It's for people who are generating new things, where the exact phrasing and the creative spark are, far more important than retrieving a hard, real-time fact.
So ChatGPT is brilliant at generating ideas, but as you mentioned, it might hallucinate facts, which creates a massive problem if you're a journalist or a researcher or an investor tracking market shifts.
You need something grounded.
Yeah. Where do you go when factual accuracy isn't a luxury, but the entire point of the job? And that brings us to Google's Titan, right? Gemini.
And here we see a fundamentally different architectural approach. The report refers to Gemini as the fastest researcher in the room.
A great title.
It is, and the reason for this title goes back to the underlying infrastructure. Gemini isn't just a standalone chat interface floating in a vacuum somewhere.
Right, into Google.
Exactly. It is deeply, fundamentally integrated with Google's search index, its vast data reserves, and its broader ecosystem. Think Google Docs, Gmail, Google Flights.
The source notes its massive advantage is unmatched access to up-to-date, real-time information.
Ugh.
It's literally built for research and factual queries. But, how does that actually work under the hood? Why is it better at reality than ChatGPT?
Well, unlike an AI that relies heavily on its internal frozen memory of the internet from whatever its last training update was, Gemini operates much more like a live router.
A live router?
Yeah, when you ask it a question about a breaking news event, it actively queries the live internet. It synthesizes current search results, pulls the text from live websites right into its processing center,
Oh, wow.
and packages that live data for you in real time, which is just a massive computational feat.
So Gemini is basically like a hyper-caffeinated librarian.
I love that.
Yeah, it can instantly find the exact book you need, pull the exact quote from the exact right shelf in a massive, constantly updating library. But, and looking at the cons in this report, maybe don't ask it to write a heartfelt, witty poem about that book.
Probably not its strong suit.
The source notes it's significantly less creative than its rivals, and its responses can feel distinctly data-driven rather than human-like.
It definitely lacks the conversational warmth of its competitors, which honestly raises an important question for how we interact with these tools.
Yeah.
From a user experience perspective, is that cold, data-driven feel a bug, or is it actually a feature?
I think for a specific type of listener, it is absolutely a feature. If I just want the cold, hard facts, if I'm fact-checking a complicated supply chain report, I don't want my AI trying to be my buddy.
You don't need a joke with your data.
Exactly. I don't want it adding creative flourishes to historical dates or shipping logistics. Give me the numbers.
And that is the core value proposition. The lack of a human-like personality in Gemini is often a direct result of its protocols prioritizing factual accuracy over conversational engagement.
It's a tool, not a friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's trying to be a utility, not a companion. So it's best for research, current affairs, fact-checking, and really anyone deeply entrenched in the Google workspace.
Okay, so we have the fast, creative multitasker, and we have the fast, factual researcher. But what if speed isn't your problem at all?
Okay, setting a new scene.
Yeah, what if I drop a 400-page legal contract on the desk? Or, like, a dense scientific study? You don't need a quick, punchy summary, and you certainly don't need a live web search. You need deep, reliable comprehension.
Which brings us to the third vision in the report.
Enter Claude.
Yes,
Yeah.
built by Anthropic.
Yeah.
And the report makes a very distinct pivot here. It notes that Claude feels fundamentally different to use because it isn't trying to impress you with speed or tools.
Right.
It's trying to deeply understand you.
The source material describes Claude as calm, thoughtful, and extremely good at handling long, complex content. It highlights this distinctly human and cautious tone. But the limitations are pretty glaring, right?
They are. It is significantly less aggressively creative than ChatGPT, and it completely lacks that massive plugin library.
So what's its secret weapon?
The defining characteristic of Claude is its approach to the context window, which is essentially how much information it can hold in its immediate memory at one time, combined with this incredibly strict constitutional AI framework.
Wait, hold on. Constitutional AI. That sounds like we're giving the software a tiny powdered wig and a gavel.
It does sound a bit formal.
What does that actually mean mechanically? Like,
Well,
how does a piece of code have a constitution?
it's a fascinating mechanism, honestly. Instead of just relying on human trainers to constantly manually tweak its behavior, Anthropic literally gave the model a written document of principles. A constitution. So when you ask Claude a question, it generates an internal response, but before it shows it to you, it critiques its own answer against that constitution.
Really?
Yeah, it asks itself, is this helpful? Is this safe? Is this accurate? It literally edits itself based on those rules before the text ever appears on your screen.
So it's double-checking its own work against a core set of rules. That completely explains the cautious tone.
Exactly.
It isn't just blurting out the first confident thought that comes to mind, like our overconfident office worker from earlier. It's actually pausing to review.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And now combine that with a massive context window. If you handed a 400-page document, Claude isn't just skimming the first and last pages.
Right, it's reading the whole thing.
It maps out the entire structure of the massive document you just gave it, checking for structural flaws and internal contradictions before it makes a single analytical cut.
So it's less like a fast librarian and more like a master diamond cutter.
That's a perfect analogy.
It is inspecting every single angle of the raw material before it acts. But here's where it gets really interesting to me, though. I have to push back on this strategy a little bit.
Sure, go for it.
In a tech landscape that constantly rewards speed, massive ecosystems, and doing everything at once, if Claude is cautious, slow, and lacks a massive plugin library, doesn't it risk being left in the dust by the other two? Or is there actually a premium right now on an AI that just slows down and thinks?
That's the million-dollar question. But if we look at the trajectory of knowledge work, the ability to slow down and synthesize accurately is becoming a massive premium skill.
Because there's too much content.
Exactly. We are drowning in fast, cheap content. The bottleneck for professionals isn't generating more information anymore. It's making sense of the complex information that already exists.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
By prioritizing safety and deep understanding over aggressive tool use, Claude establishes trust. For writers editing a full manuscript, researchers comparing dozens of dense academic papers, or strategists who need a sounding board that will actually analyze their logic instead of just parroting it back.
That's where it wins.
That is exactly where Claude dominates.
Okay, so we've got our three candidates. If we put these three in a ring, who actually walks out the winner? Because if I'm looking at my monthly software subscription budget, I probably only want to pay for one.
Fair enough. And the report actually gives us a showdown scorecard.
Let's hear it.
The source breaks it down feature by feature. For creativity, ease of use, and sheer productivity, the point goes to ChatGPT.
Okay.
For real-time information and ecosystem integration, Gemini takes the prize.
Makes sense.
And for deep thinking, long-form analysis, and safety, Claude wins.
And the report makes a point to say that the quote-unquote truth of the matter is that there is no single best AI. It depends entirely on what you, the listener, want to do.
Exactly.
Make money and build quick projects. Go ChatGPT. Need the absolute latest info? Go Gemini. Deep, reliable analysis? Go Claude.
However,
There's an however.
the report forces a decision. It declares a, quote, shocking winner.
Okay, who is it?
It concludes that if you are absolutely forced to choose just one, ChatGPT takes the lead.
Oh, Lee.
Yes. The justification is that it is the most balanced, powerful, and useful for the majority of people. It replaces the most tools and saves the most time across a varied workday.
I have to be honest here. I am genuinely skeptical of this shocking winner.
Let's hear the skepticism.
I mean, is ChatGPT actually the winner, or is it just the ultimate jack of all trades? If you are the listener trying to build a serious competitive advantage, shouldn't you be incredibly wary of a tool that is merely balanced instead of being the absolute best at your specific high-stakes task?
That skepticism is entirely warranted. I mean, if your job is 100% data verification, a balanced tool that occasionally hallucinates is a disaster waiting to happen. But the report argues from the reality of the modern fragmented workflow. In a single morning, a professional might write an email, brainstorm a project name, check a piece of code, and outline a presentation.
Right, we jump around a lot.
We do. And the mental friction of switching between highly specialized tools for each microtask often outweighs the benefit of specialization. ChatGPT wins the generalization award because it removes the most friction for the highest number of common, everyday tasks.
It's basically the best default option for the average day.
Exactly. But relying on the default is settling for average, and that exact realization leads to the report's most crucial revelation.
Which brings us to the ultimate strategy. The source explicitly states that picking just one AI, even the winning one, is actually a rookie mistake.
This is where we move from simply understanding the tools to actually mastering the medium. The true power move, the strategy that top-tier creators, researchers, and professionals are using to pull ahead right now, is not choosing one AI.
Okay.
It is using all three together as an integrated sequential workflow.
Okay, this is the part of the deep dive that completely reframed how I look at my computer. Walk us through this three-step workflow from the source, because it is brilliant. Let's make it concrete.
Sure.
Let's say you, the listener, are trying to launch a new, highly complex business, say an eco-friendly supply chain company. How do you use this power move?
All right, step one. You start with Gemini. You use it exclusively for research and gathering the real-time facts.
The hyper-caffeinated librarian?
Precisely. You tell the librarian to scour the live internet. You have Gemini pull the absolute latest EU environmental regulations from yesterday and index the current real-time shipping costs across the Atlantic. So now you have a massive, accurate pile of raw current data.
You have the reality check.
Next is step two. You take that massive, messy pile of raw data and you feed it into Claude. You use Claude for deep refinement.
Okay, the diamond cutter.
Yes. You ask it to analyze that 100-page data dump, check for contradictions between the regulations and the shipping costs, synthesize the complex points, and structure a bulletproof, logical business strategy. You use the master diamond cutter to make sense of the noise and find any structural flaws.
Wow. And then, step three, you take Claude's beautifully reasoned, highly accurate strategy document and you drop it into ChatGPT for execution and creativity.
That's the finishing touch.
You tell ChatGPT, take this deep analysis and turn it into a punchy 10-slide pitch deck for investors, or, write compelling landing page copy, or generate the Python code for our inventory tracking system based on these parameters.
It's incredibly powerful when you string it together like that.
So what does this all mean for you? It means you aren't just a prompt writer anymore. You are the manager of a highly specialized digital department. You are running an assembly line for thought. You take the raw, verified materials from the Gemini research department, you refine them in the Claude analytical factory, and you package them for sale in the ChatGPT marketing department. I mean, it is a complete paradigm shift in how human beings work.
It really elevates the human role significantly. The core takeaway from the report is that AI is becoming a partner in thinking, creating, and growing.
Yeah.
The winners in this new world won't be the people who are furiously debating which single AI is the absolute best on social media.
Right, the fanboys.
Yeah, exactly. The winners will be the ones who deeply understand these diverse personalities and orchestrate them smartly to build a machine that's far greater than the sum of its parts.
We have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. We've explored the generative, all-round genius of ChatGPT, the live querying, real-time intelligence of Gemini, and the constitutional, thoughtful depth of Claude. And most importantly, we've seen how combining them into a single flowing assembly line is the ultimate 2026 power move.
It really is. But this raises an essential forward-looking question for you to take away from this deep dive.
Oh, I like where this is heading.
The source asks which AI you were going to master first to start building this workflow. But consider the trajectory of this technology for a second. If we are already manually stringing Gemini's research into Claude's analysis into ChatGPT's execution,
Yeah.
how long will it be until these AIs simply start talking directly to each other behind the scenes?
Oh, wow.
Right. Will your role as the manager of this digital department eventually become obsolete as the software just, automates the handoffs? Or, and this is the alternative will, orchestrating these complex, interconnected AI relationships become the single most vital, irreplaceable human skill of the next decade?
I mean, that is a thought that is definitely going to keep me up at night. Were you the one hiring the employees, or the employees just going to start running the company themselves?
The real question.
It all comes back to knowing what the job actually is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Don't wait for the future to figure itself out. Start interviewing your own AI team and see what they can build for you today.